Tom walked along the beach of the lake in Oregon. It was a lovely midsummer day, with birds singing all around him and the characteristic green lushness of the season surrounding him. He loved being out here. An older gentleman, he'd worked hard for years in order to be able to retire and travel, volunteering at various parks in the far western USA in exchange for utilities and campground admission. Now, in their 10th year of doing this, he and his wife still hadn't lost their joy and awe of the beauty that surrounded them daily. However, today he barely noticed his surroundings. He was too preoccupied with something that had been worrying him for a while now. It had all started with a phone call 6 weeks ago from one of their daughters. She'd called and said that she'd just gone to the hospital. It was a bit of a shock to him, as she was generally in excellent health and rarely even went to the doctor. But apparently she was now in extreme pain. After several hours and many tests, the doctors found out that she had 2 kidney stones and sent her home to await their passing. A few days later, she'd called again. "Mama, Daddy, they hurt so much. I'm taking as much pain medicine as I can. I even had them up the dose. But I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't do anything. I can't sit or stand or lay down or anything. It just keeps hurting, and the pain isn't moving. The stones aren't moving," she'd cried. He felt absolutely helpless. After making a follow-up appointment with her doctor and demanding more tests, the doctors discovered that what they'd originally thought were 2 separate stones had met up and become a single 9mm kidney stone, which is considered very large, and she'd need surgery to get it out. While the surgery was relatively routine and minimally invasive, he was scared for his daughter. He wanted to protect his little girl. He wanted her to be okay. He and his wife wanted so much to go to her, but she lived over 2,000 miles away, and they were unable to make the trip. So all he could do was wait and pray. And time ticked away until today, the day of the surgery. Knowing it was scheduled to take place in about a half hour, he paced on the beach, picking up litter left by other park-goers, while trying to pray and to not worry. As he walked, a woman walked up to him, someone he'd never seen before. For the first time in his over 10-year history of volunteering, instead of asking him for assistance, she asked him something else. "May I pray for you?" "Yes," he said. "Please pray for my daughter. She's about to go into surgery, and I'm so worried about her." And she lightly laid her hand on his shoulder and prayed a very short, concise prayer. There was absolutely nothing out of the ordinary or demanding about the words she said. Just a simple prayer, like a child would say. Then she turned around and left. Feeling a little more at peace, Tom walked back to the camping spot where his wife was waiting, and he began to tell her what had happened. While he was still telling her, the phone rang. Glancing at the screen, he saw it was his daughter. "Hello?" he tentatively asked, scared that the news was bad, as he could hear her crying on the other end of the line. Then, when he heard what she had to say, he cried too. "Mama, Daddy, it's gone. The stone is gone. I know I didn't pass it, and it's gone. They did 2 scans looking for it, and it's gone." They all laughed until they cried, and then cried until they laughed again. "Tell it to me again. What happened?" Tom's wife asked their daughter. I went in for the surgery, and as part of the prep, they did an x-ray to precisely locate the stone. They couldn't find it, so then they did a CT scan. It's not there. It's gone. And I know I didn't pass it because I was in massive pain again just an hour ago, and I would have known. You cannot possibly pass a stone that large. And Mama, when they marked my hand for which side to do the surgery on, they drew a purple cross instead of an X. And I feel like that's really important. Tom began to tell his story about the woman who had prayed with him a short time before while his wife and daughter listened and laughed and cried. She had prayed with him while the scans were occurring, and he was very convinced that she was an angel. But he knew that, regardless of whether she was or not, that God cared for his family with all its ups and downs, and that God was taking care of them. There have been so many instances of small and large miracles throughout his life, yet he still fought with worry so much. And he knew that he still would in the future, too, in his weak humanness. But he came away with his faith just a little bit stronger. He knew that the woman had not needed to pray with him for the miracle to happen, but he also knew that it was God's way of saying to him, I love you. I'll take care of you and your family even better than you can. I haven't forgotten you. I don't ignore you. I see you, all of you, and you belong to me. And yes, I still move stones. Regardless of if you believe, in every moment of every day, may you feel the embrace of God's eternal love. May you hear the quiet whisper of His voice calling your name. May you know that His Spirit is available to you to strengthen and help you. May the true knowledge of His grace and truth guide you throughout your life. Thank you for listening.